By the end of this video, 4 people around the world will take their own lives. Within the United States alone, 68 people will seriously consider suicide, and 8 will attempt it. In fact, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and unfortunately, this intractable problem continues to get worse. Over the past 20 years, suicide rates have increased by over 30%. So it's really no surprise that researchers and policymakers have dedicated huge amounts of time and effort towards trying to understand what factors might increase or decrease the likelihood that a person will think about, plan, or attempt suicide. And a lot of those factors might be what you'd already expect. When people are feeling chronically down or hopeless, they might be more likely, on average, to have a thought of suicide. On the other hand, being in contact with a mental health provider, having multiple healthy coping strategies, and being connected to others seems to decrease the likelihood that a person will think about or attempt suicide. Which brings us to my research. See, we know that being socially connected seems to help, but social connection can look like a lot of things. It could mean having a lot of friends or a close-knit family. It could mean being involved in community service or your church or recreational sports. Everybody places value on different pieces of that puzzle. And moreover, we don't really know if it's more important to have a lot of social connections or to believe that you have someone that you can go to for help. From a practical standpoint, it means we don't know where to put our resources to make them the most effective. So I decided to look at it. My group has been following nearly 750 veterans for over 9 years, and each year we ask about thoughts of suicide. So I took the size of a person's social network, including friends and family and community engagement, and their perception of their available support at baseline, and then looked at whether or not they predicted the frequency and severity of suicidal thoughts over the following 9 years. And here's what I found. When we look at them by themselves, both the size of a person's social network and a person's perception of how much social support they had predicted the frequency and severity of their suicidal thoughts. In other words, the larger a person's network and the more support they perceived, the lower the frequency and severity of their thoughts. But when we let them go head to head, the size of a person's social network mattered more. What does this mean practically? On the largest scales, perhaps we need programs that increase social support and connectedness for those at risk for or already thinking about suicide. For therapists like me, it may mean focusing on things like social skills that help our clients build out their social support networks, rather than purely working on their perception of their existing support. And for all of us, I think it means reaching out just a little bit more to the people around us. I mean, in the end, don't we all just get by with a little help from our friends?